So you want to join the ultra competitive tech field, whether that's software engineering, cybersecurity, whatever. In this video, I'm going to talk about how can you find the healthy balance between what you're already prioritizing in your life and this new skill that you want to develop. Hi, my name's Courtney. I'm a high school software engineer that has perfected my methods of productivity. And today I'm going to talk about how I personally balance high school and software engineering. Now, I had a lot of requests for making a video like this from my video talking about how I became a high school software engineer. So if you're interested in my process of becoming where I am now, go check that video out. Now, before we get started, be sure to like and subscribe down below for more content. Thank you again so much for watching. Tip number one, you need to prioritize your commitments. Now, how I work this out is I rank what matters most to me. I know personally academics is always going to be my number one at the moment because that's kind of what I can lean back on. Worst case scenario, I know if my academics are well, I can at least go to school later on and start another career. So personally, academics is my number one. And then number two, I have my extracurriculars. This is things that I cannot really change, like work. So right now, if you don't know, I'm overemployed. I have two jobs. One where I get paid and one where I'm unpaid internship. So because of that, those are also a priority because I've made that commitment. After that, I have my health, and then I have my coding. Now that seems like a lot of things for me to be prioritizing above my software engineering journey, but this ended up working for me very well. So at the end of the day, you should kind of rank what really matters to you and then go ahead and work from there. I personally love using tools like Google Calendar and Notion to help me organize my different thoughts and things of that sort. And if you want to see how I personally organize my life, check out this video right there. It's a great way for you to just kind of see how do I stay on top of my different tasks that I previously just listed. Tip number two, you need to focus on time management. The time blocking method is a phenomenal way for you to organize your life, specifically your day-to-day life, for you to recognize, okay, wow, I have a lot of free space in this certain time period of my days every single day, for me to be able to lock in and get my stuff done. Now for me personally, each and every day kind of looks a bit differently, but as long as I'm spending 10-15 minutes a day looking at code, developing my skills, that's what really matters, and that's how I've really set myself ahead of the rest when it comes to my age group and also just the competition that is seen in this ultra competitive field. Now I say that, but realistically, I don't actually spend only 15 minutes a day coding. That's not really logistical for me personally. What I do is I'll code for an hour one day and then I won't code for the next. And typically I code for an hour or an hour and a half in those kinds of time blocks because that's just how I work for me. And then of course, some days I'll be coding for hours and hours and hours on end. So it all just depends on what works in my personal schedule for that certain day and then what doesn't. In this tip, I want to say you need to prioritize your breaks as well. Making you go from one thing to the next thing to the next thing to the next will only create burnout where you will only last for 2 weeks and then after that you will fall completely on your face. That's just how human nature works. We need to build breaks within your day. So make sure you are giving yourself 5-10 minutes to go for a walk, scroll on TikTok, watch TV, just be a person, you know? And that's totally okay for you to schedule these breaks within your day. Don't think otherwise. The next tip I have is choose relevant projects. Now this for me looks like only coding in languages that I really want to work in my future, which means for me personally, really working in JavaScript and React Native. Those are my mains for my personal development within this field. Even though I know things like Python, I'm not really going to be using that for building projects because that's not something that really interests me. And it's also not something that I plan to use in the sector of software engineering that I want to join. Kind of going more into projects, I really want to push for you to build projects because trust me, babe, when you start building these projects, they will build your portfolio, and that just shows people, specifically hiring people and recruiters, that you know what you're talking about and you know what you're doing. The next tip I have is to ask for support. Now, it is totally okay for you to be stuck and then you Google for an answer. That is totally normal and that is completely acceptable. If you can't do that, ask people for help. I'm always here to help. There are people online, there are built communities already established that can help you fix whatever problem you are facing. Trust me, you are not alone in this journey. This is a super competitive field. Like, I don't know how much more I can say that. So many people are trying to become software engineers. So because of that, there is a lot of help out there for whatever aspects of this journey that you need help with. especially if it's a technical problem like your code, your project, and things of that sort. People are always going to be here to help answer your questions. I know personally for me, I've joined so many different Discords online where I can look at them and ask them, well, how do you guys do this? How do I do this? How do I add this component into my React program? These are all things that are perfectly reasonable to ask other people. And despite the stereotype of software engineers and tech people being in their shells and nerds and don't want to talk to people, they are actually extremely helpful, especially when it comes to technical problems. Now, my final tip, I kind of already tapped onto this, but practice self-care. Balancing things like school and then coding, it can be extremely difficult. Don't lose sight of your goal. Now, that is a huge thing that I always mess up. I always set way too many goals for myself, and then I end up struggling to make sure every single thing that I have set up for myself succeeds. But no, don't put too much on your plate. It's okay to slowly grow and slowly develop into whatever aspect you're trying to do for your life, okay? Alright, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to comment down below what are some different projects that you want to start building to build your portfolio. And if you want to hear some projects that I built for my portfolio, comment down below. You know, I'm always here to answer and always here to share my personal journey to help you in yours. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you next time on Quartz Corner.